Hey, what's up, everyone? Evan from Flyletter here, showing you how to create an on-brand profile that writes newsletters in your unique brand voice every time. Let's get it started. Your brand profile is the foundation of everything on Flyletter. A brand profile captures your voice, style, formatting, audience, and even visual preferences. Strong newsletters that perform well have strong brand voices that stand out in the crowd. Poor performing newsletters have weak brand voices with nothing to say. So in order to create a strong brand voice on Flyletter, it all starts with your brand profile. So let's create one now. You come over here to the brands page. You'll see here that I already have a brand profile, but I'm going to create a new one to walk you through the process. It's only 3 steps, requires 3 writing samples, and you end up with an on-brand profile that matches your voice, style, audience, and more. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is give your brand an identity. Now, this is the pseudonym that you write your newsletter under. It could be a personal brand, in which case it would be your name. It could be a business brand, in which case it would be the company name, or it could be what I call hybrid, and that would be a personal voice representing a business, like the CEO writing as himself or herself, but on behalf of the business as the business's newsletter, in which case you can name it yourself or your company. But because I have a personal brand, I'm going to call it Evan Tarver, and I'm going to add a photo for personalization. Once I have that set up, we select what type of brand this is. For me, it's a personal brand, but like I said, if you're writing as the company, it can be a business brand, or if you're like the CEO or someone writing on behalf of a company, it could be a hybrid brand. Let's move on to step 2 of 3. Step 2 is adding your writing samples. So Flyletter requires only 3 writing samples to capture your complete brand profile. And there's a couple ways for you to add your writing samples. The best method, if you have a public newsletter URL or active newsletter RSS feed, is to just connect your newsletter by adding the URL directly to Flyletter. The additional benefit here is not only will it automatically grab your samples, but it'll actually connect your public newsletter feed to your brand profile. So every time you publish content, Flyletter will continue to learn about you and provide better suggestions over time. If you don't have a public URL, you can add samples manually here. And if you have writing you admire, you can even add content from other writers here, and we'll blend elements of their style with your authentic voice. So let's do so now. I'm going to grab my Substack, and I've only written 2 pieces of content for this Substack for the purpose of this video. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it. Boom, are automatically connected. If you also send promotional emails to the same newsletter list, you can also select this to remove marketing emails from your brand voice analysis. But if you don't send promotional emails to the same list, then you don't have to include that. And you'll see here that it's grabbed 2 of 3 samples. I only have 2 pieces of content. So I want to add a 3rd piece of content, but maybe I don't have something to add myself. And so what I can do is I can actually add writing I admire. So someone I admire is Dan Coe. I found this article that aligns with the type of content I write about, something my audience would be interested in. I'm going to go ahead and add it here to the writing that I admire. So let's fetch that in real time, and now I have my 3 samples. I can move on to the 3rd step. Now, this 3rd step is the only step that requires a human in the loop. This is your audience focus and really the focus of your entire newsletter and your entire brand. So from your writing samples, we automatically define your target audience, your unique differentiator or what makes you different, as well as the main topics you write about. It's important to review and approve these because so much of your brand profile is based on this information. Now, what you can do is you can edit it manually if you like. You can refresh to get a different take from Flyletter on your audience, your unique differentiator, or your main topics. You can even attach files if you have like customer profile documents or something like that, which will help Flyletter further define your audience. So reading these seem pretty good. Now down here to main topics, because I only have 2 pieces of content and one was on mental health, it thinks I'm writing about mental health, but I don't really. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Personal development, business growth, entrepreneurship, and AI, that all sounds right. Everything looks good. So we're going to move on and create our brand profile. Now the brand profile is being created. What's happening is 3 agents are running in parallel. The first 2 agents are taking half of your brand profile each, looking at your writing samples and constructing that half of the profile. This speeds up the time it takes to complete your brand profile and capture your brand voice. 3rd agent runs and actually looks at the images that were taken from your samples and creates your visual style to help with the featured image generation, as well as inline image generation, which Flyletter provides. Now, the cool thing is you're not locked here and you can kind of navigate Flyletter as this is being created. And it looks like our brand profile is ready. So let's check that out now. So here's your brand profile. Now what Flyletter does, it looks at 54 different dimensions across tone, style, audience, and more. You really capture the essence of your brand and your brand voice. So it starts here with a summary of what your brand is. It will then give you a tone position of the tone of your voice, as well as a voice mix: storyteller, frameworker, conversationalist, opinionator, and fact presenter. And of course, if you want definitions, you can see all of those here. Additionally, you'll get key characteristics of what your brand truly represents. And of course, you can edit any of this manually if you so choose. Now, before we get into the full brand details, which is really important, what you can do is you can actually test and refine your voice just by chatting with Flyletter. So once you have your brand profile created and you want to hear how it sounds, you can simply generate a sample, and it will generate a sample in your brand voice. But here's the sample. If it looks good, that's it, you're done. You have an amazing brand voice that captures the essence of your brand. However, you can also chat directly with it to make updates to your brand profile to ensure it aligns with your voice, style, tone, audience, and more. So you can actually type directly with it here. Hey, I would like to make this a little more casual. Now analyzing my request, and then it's actually refining my persona. So you'll see here that it's actually editing the full persona details as well as the things up here. Now, it made the edits and then is now giving me a new sample for me to review. I like it, that's it, I'm done, and I can continue to make edits if I so choose. Now down here's the full brand details. You have your audience and positioning, your content philosophy, your writing mechanics, signature elements, forbidden elements, and then of course your visual style. So within each of these, you will see data points across all of these dimensions. And then finally, your visual style. Now, in addition to be able to chat directly with Flyletter to make edits to your brand profile, you can also make manual edits if you so choose, just to make sure that it truly aligns with your brand and what you're going for. Once you make those edits, you can click save and your brand profile is completely updated. And then finally down here is where you see your content sources. So like I mentioned, if you connect your newsletter to Flyletter during the brand profile creation process, it will automatically link that newsletter and then update your brand profile with new content as it's published and continue to learn from your published content and make suggestions over time. In addition to just your newsletter, you can add other sources such as your YouTube channel, if you have a blog or website, podcast, any RSS feed or other type of content with a public URL. And Flyletter will connect to those content sources and use them to provide better suggestions over time. Once you're done, you can save your brand and you're ready to write your first newsletter.